Hello, good evening and welcome back to Rangers Radio. Union Saint-Gilloise 2, Rangers 0, and a disastrous performance away in Belgium. Join myself, Oxford, on the show is Billy and Juicy. Evening, boys, welcome back. We'll start with you, Juicy. Give us your thoughts quickly.
Oh, thanks for coming to me first.
That'll do. Oh, that sums it up. Yeah, that'll do. Carry on.
It was just inept. I mean, we've had some difficult performances in the past in Europe in qualifiers, and this was right up there, wasn't it? And if I can be positive, there's at least a second leg. So, my goodness, we're going to need to do something.
Yeah. I think the manager got so much wrong tonight with the shape of the team. Billy?
Aye, mate, I thought we were all over the place at times, mate. We were talking about there when he's playing basically a 5-2-3 or a 5-3-2 or something like that. We're just chasing shadows over the park, mate. That's one of the worst performances I've ever seen us playing in a long time, Ox. But the man, Gio, has to shed some of the blame on this, mate, for his tactics tonight, because I really think he got them wrong, mate. You know what I mean? Big time. And it cost us.
I thought Glenn Kamara and Ryan Jack were poor, yeah. But they were in there with some amount of ground to cover, yeah. And I could think that it was meant to be a 5-3 at the back, and then when you go forward, you spring. But they ended up some of the time with 5 along the back, and nothing in midfield because we were outnumbered, and then we couldn't get on hold of the ball, and they just passed through us. They were better organised, better coached, and disappointingly fitter, Billy.
Aye, that's a strange one to hear that, Ox. They looked at the team that was a lot more sharper on the ball, mate, and fitter. You're bang on there, mate, 100%, eh? What I'm disappointed in, buddy, is we never asked them questions, eh?
No, we started the first 15 minutes okay, Juicy, and we popped it about reasonably well. And as soon as they came into the game, it just changed, didn't it?
Yeah, the best play that we had was in those opening 10-15 minutes. Tillman was trying to make things happen, but after that, they kind of sussed us out. They dominated the midfield. Jack and Kamara were just totally absent. Our midfield just wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And it just looks so easy for USG. And I'm not going to take away their ability and the fact that they played a good game. Their tactics weren't dirty. It wasn't a dirty match, I didn't think.
Best team won, mate. Best team won.
Absolutely. I've got no complaints about their tactics and that on us. We just were all over the place. And what makes me sad is that we've seen this before at this stage. And so how are we going to work this out for next week? They've still got a chance, Oxford, but we need Alfredo and Kent back, because we need players who can make it happen and hold that ball up as well. Because we didn't do any of that tonight. There was no holding that ball to bring players in.
I didn't think it was a penalty, even though I even seen it again with VAR. I still didn't think it was a penalty kick, because I didn't think it was deliberate handball, and his hand, I don't know what it was meant to do when he was falling back like that, so I didn't think it was a penalty. But that doesn't take away the performance. We lost the first goal, a combination of Borna, Ryan Jack, James Sands and John McLaughlin, if I'm being honest, Billy.
You're 100% correct, mate. 100% correct. It was the goals. Terrible goal to lose, mate. It was a comedy errors, mate. The keeper's got to do a lot better there as well, buddies.
What was Ryan Jack thinking about doing?
Is he trying to usher the guy out, usher the boy out the back? I don't know why he was trying to, because he done neither. You know what I mean? He didn't get a fan, and he didn't usher the boy out, so he's done neither there. You know what I mean?
I'll ask you this question: do you think Ryan Jack looked fit?
No.
Do you see? No, I did that, if I'm being completely honest. Right, boys, we could chat all night, but we need to get these phone lines open.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be a few angry bears, Ox, and rightly so.
rightly so, mate. The performance was poor, the tactics were poor, the shape was poor, the players were poor. The only good thing was the support. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
I don't know where to start with that. I was so disappointed, Gio. I thought he waited too long to try and influence the game. It obviously wasn't working with James Sands playing on the left-hand side of defence. Bonner wasn't having a good game. I personally wouldn't have bought on the boy Ridvan. I don't think that was fair. They broke Davis on at half-time for Sands right away. And then Lundstrom up one and went with the 4. Yeah, I don't know what you think yourself. Start with Juicy.
It needed that midfield dominance. So you're totally right. It needed us to command it from the midfield. We were too light in there, and he never really ever changed that, did he? And you go into these kind of games against teams that, in general, are used to winning. That's why they're at this stage. You're gonna be up against it, especially if you go a goal down. And we were fortunate for it to only be 1-0 at half time because they had some opportunities to double that lead. And then obviously right at the end there, could have very nearly been 3-0 had Tav not cleared off the line. And that really would have been game over. I mean, they've got a chance next week, guys. And over the next week, we've got to talk about how they can tactically change this to actually get back into this match. It's not beyond them. We've seen them do it before, even Braga last season, but we were only 1 down. But this is...
We've been joined by Henry. Evening, Henry. How are we doing, mate?
Not too bad, mate. How's things?
Can you turn the show off, mate? Can you turn the show off in the background?
Just done that, mate. Hold on.
Hello, how are you doing, mate?
Good. Good. It's not the end of the world at the end of the day, you know.
Nobody's died, mate, but it was a disastrous performance and it was a disastrous result, mate. And it was poor tactically and poor. It was purely poor play all of the park. But I don't think we had a player on the park with past marks, Henry.
The first 20 minutes, I thought we were pretty decent. I thought we were well in control of the game. What I didn't like in the first half was Sands wouldn't give the ball to Barisic. He just, every time Barisic made a run, he turned and crossed the field. It's like they're trying to feed the new boys.
No, and he left.
And I don't think that was good for Barisic tonight, to be honest. If I had walked over at half time, Bonner must have been absolutely fizzing.
They left fit.
I don't know if he picked up on that, but
no,
he wasn't getting anything.
I think the problem is they'll take this to Billy, is that's what happens when you play people. They left fit, so everything goes on to his right, and he's passed it inside Billy.
That's right, mate. It's no natural to him, mate. If he's a naturally right-sided football player playing on the left side of the park, because what you want to do is you want to come into your stronger side all the time, and that's how he wasn't giving the ball. That's exactly how he wasn't giving the ball. And Barisic can make the runs all night, and that's entirely what will happen all the time. And that was the reason for it, mate, because the guy's no left footer.
I can understand that, but he had ample opportunities to kick it with his right foot, and he was just switching back inside and going across. And I didn't think it was. As I say, if I was Barisic, I'd be in that dressing room at half time going absolutely ballistic.
If I could say
that's only 1 point, guys. I've got quite a few, if you can bear with me.
Right, go on then, Henry boy.
Right, a wee question. Do you think the team is better than the team we had last season? I think for the money we've taken in and the money we've spent, I think the team was lacking. Aribo going to be the best player in Britain or the world eventually.
Bold statement, that, Henry.
Well, it is, mate, but he's the best football player in Britain at the moment. when he's got the ball at his feet, if you've seen his goals. Right? And selling Bassey was an absolute bomb scare for me. I actually think the team is weaker now for the money that was spent. But obviously missing you know who. But I'm not coming on to slate the team, guys. It's a new team, and we'll just have to see. But I'm not very impressed.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, we'll answer your questions. Don't try and answer your own ones because it doesn't work. Doesn't know, Juicy? Right.
Come on, guys. I need some support here because I'm really devastated after watching that.
Mate, we're all feeling the same, right? The new players tonight, right? So in the back five, it was the new players, John McLaughlin in goal, and then in front of them there was Glenn Kamara and Ryan Jack. They started in the Europa League Cup final. The new players playing tonight were up front, and let's be honest, to get the ball to the players up front, you have to win the midfield, and then you can supply them. What I will say is, I was disappointed. I thought Tillman done okay in the first 20 minutes. Faded out the game, we never got the bottom, I don't think. Joe, centre forward who needs service. Billy, one chance, maybe with the header for the Tillman cross, could have maybe scored. Is that fair?
Aye, that's it in a nutshell, Ox. I mean, to answer the guy's question, I think it's a wee bit premature, early-ish, to judge a team on that one bad performance. So I think that's a wee bit. As I said, a wee bit early. A wee bit early.
When you rock the team, you know what I mean?
No, you're not doing that at all, mate. You're quite entitled to your opinion, mate. But I think it's just a wee bit early to judge a team on that one bad performance. But what I will say is, to touch on Ox's points there, I think I've said it before on the show. I think sometimes when we play these games and in certain situations to suit certain formations, we play too many similar players in the same positions, and it nullifies each other out. That's just my take on it.
I reckon I'll take this to Juicy. Juicy, I reckon Tav, Mark, Matonda out the game tonight.
Yes, yeah, I think so. And look, my biggest problem with this fixture is this is more tactically for me. This is more on Gio than it is these players, because they run around tonight looking like they didn't know what the game plan was. Henry, I think these players will come good. And pre-season, but we saw some of these players perform in pre-season against decent sides, English Premier sides, who we know are a good level. We know there's some good play in these guys. My biggest worry is that, as always, it's coming too early in the season for these Champions League qualifiers, because we always take a little bit of time to get going.
The person you called isn't available at the moment.
And we've got to move more quickly. So next week, if we can just get Alfie some game time against Kilmarnock, and hopefully Kent's back as well. We've got two players who we know make things happen, who hold the ball up, bring others in, because that's the only chance we're going to have next week. We're still in this by some kind of miracle, but only just. But we are capable of turning this around. We've seen it before, guys, but my goodness, we're going to have to play well.
Aye, but just critiquing tonight's performance, it was abysmal, Henry. Abysmal.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very poor. Alfie back in the squad didn't have any problem with that. But guys, come on. If you go and watch the game again, the first half, Scott Wright playing left back, he just refuses to pass the ball to Barisic.
Got right.
And I'm like,
right?
what? Right. Sands, sorry. And I'm like, well, why? And we cross over to the right-hand side, and it's not happening. They've got us covered. I just didn't care what to make of that tonight, lads. Honestly.
Listen, great to hear from you, Henry. You go and just try and enjoy your rest of the night, and we'll catch up with you soon. Look after yourself, mate.
I've got to go.
Right. He's right, but he's right to be disappointed. But listen, I would have took Sands off at half time, Billy. One, he's been booked, and I think with 5 substitutes, I think your manager's got to learn. You've got to use it to your advantage.
I know, you're bang on again, mate. 110% correct. Because see, I don't know if you noticed it. He had 2 fouls after that, mate, and he was lucky. There was one he got the ball caught in between his legs. I think it was just at the start of the second half, mate. And he's sort of, he caught the ball between his legs, and then he's stretched for the ball, and the boy's just nicked in front of him. I mean, if he catches him where he's off the partner down to 10 men, you know what I mean? So, in my opinion, too, mate, Sands shouldn't have been on the park in the second half, mate. I'm not going to start slating the laddie, like, you know, but I'm being constructive, folks. I'm being constructive, mate.
I'm not having a go at Sands here. I'm having a go at the manager.
No, he's got to. Sands shouldn't have been on the park in the second half, mate. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Thoughts, Juicy?
Well, I mean, he was fortunate that the ref didn't even call that one a foul in the second half, but he could easily have, and then he quite possibly would have been gone. And what was I saying before the match? Gio is never afraid to change it up. And, on the one day that I say that, he suddenly seems to be scared about changing it up. There was no reason for Sands to have to stay on the pitch. We had enough defensive players change it up. But it didn't matter who he brought on in a way, because he didn't actually change the tactics, did he?
No, it still went with the 3-5-2, 5-2-3, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, to me that ended up at times a 5-2-3.
Person you're calling is on another line.
So it was almost, despite the fact that we've got quality players on the bench, if you don't change the tactics, it doesn't really matter who you bring on. And that's where we were tonight. Nothing seemed to change, despite the fact that he made all those subs in the end.
I think we've been joined by Stephen Fiosco. Evening, Stephen.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I watched the game in a wee pub, and I'm walking home, so forgive the noise. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing.
No, that's a fair comment, mate. I can't hide away from it. That's a fair comment, Billy.
I was listening to your show last night, and we were talking about Sands. If you'd pay the 4.5 million, I think we all witnessed tonight that, hey, I'll pay for his flight back to America tomorrow.
He didn't have a great game tonight. Billy?
I know. The boy didn't play. He's had a howler, mate, to be perfectly honest with you, Ox. I thought he was miles off at the boy. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst must see something else in him that we certainly don't see. But he certainly know whatever tools he's using in training, Ox, he's certainly not taking the same tools onto the park for 90 minutes, mate.
Yeah. Listen, he had a part to play in the first goal. But I think that Bonner and Ryan Jack and John McLaughlin were equally of no merit fault than he was, if I'm being honest. But his performance wasn't great, Stephen.
It was like Livingston, the first half last week. To me, it was boring. I was watching it with friends, and they're not really football fans, but they were bored. They did their own thing. It was a rubbish game of football. And Goldson, he really frustrates me. I don't think I'll ever like him. I never have. I don't know what to say, guys. I just thought I would phone up and just say how gutted I am. And I'm a wee bit embarrassed, to be honest with you.
I think that's fair, mate. I think that's fair. Juicy?
Well, look, my friend, we've seen bad performances in the past. My goodness, we've been in the 3rd division, 4th division, and seen some woeful performances. But unfortunately, here we are now coming off the back of a wonderful European season. And, in our first match, we've had to watch this level of performance. But, we can still turn this round. But I'm not going to single out a player and say that I want them to end their Rangers career today, because I know that there's a very long season ahead. They won't play many bigger matches than this season. Say what we want about domestic football, and we want to win everything. These qualifying ties and the matches that really, really are so important for us. And we've still got a chance. Even if we get through next week, my goodness, the level that they're going to need to beat Monaco or PSV.
I totally understand, but that's such a defeatist attitude. You know, it's a very... We're Glasgow Rangers. Go back through our history, the great European teams that we've beaten, and when it comes to our first stage of a European qualifying round for us, we can't beat... What was that Luxembourg team? We remember them. And then you've got Malmo, and now you've got this. That's not a good side. They're decent, but they're not Rangers calibre. But I'll love you and leave you, because you're going to be busy tonight. But I'll listen to you all the time, guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Cheers, Stephen.
Thank you, my
Catch
friend.
you soon, mate. Cheers, mate.
All the best, buddy.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
When you phone in, speak to the receptionist and they'll sort you out ASAP. Yep. Listen, with 15 players play tonight, none of them pass marks. And I'm being honest there, Billy.
Not one, mate. Not one. If anything, you could possibly give John McLaughlin, albeit he could have done better for the first goal. But he had 3 good saves in the second half, mate. That kept us in it as well, mate. They were good saves. So that's my only plus marks, because all the rest of them, every one of them, but weren't good enough for a Rangers jersey, mate. That's no what we expect as Rangers supporters.
But the biggest fault that we've been tonight, I've got to say, my biggest problem is with the coaching staff. If they sat and watched that and thought that shape was working, after us saying how fluid they could be, juicy, that gives me concerns, real concerns.
Yep, and that is the biggest issue of tonight, because we've seen this same team play better against Premiership teams in pre-season. Yeah, it might have only been pre-season, but the shape looked a lot better, and the level, of performance based on that shape was a lot better. Here we are, where the stakes are massive. Performance was poor, but tactically it was also so poor as well. And Dio has got to take that one tonight. And he's got an opportunity to put it right, but he's got to seriously think about how to beat this team, because they'll be looking to score 1 goal at Ibrox, and that will finish us, because we will not be scoring 4 past them.
So before we start, we need to get 1 goal.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, let's be honest. That's 2 competitive games we've played now, and we've not exactly peppered the opposition's goal, have we?
No, we haven't. And he's got to see if he can bring Kent or Alfredo back, because we know how important they are. I hate having to rush injured players back into this team, but Alfredo's been training for a while now. If he can get some minutes against Kilmarnock, he has a chance of being involved, as far as I'm concerned. He's looked good from the footage that we've seen. I know footage can be taken either way, really, when you see videos, but we're all desperate to see him play. The stakes couldn't be higher now, could they?
No. Listen, I understand you try things, Billy, and does they work out? But how we never changed that at half time is beyond me, especially in modern football with 5 substitutes.
You're bang on again, mate. Everything you're saying is totally correct, big man. I mean, he's got to change it. He's got to change it. You're sitting there watching.
Oh, Billy. We've been joined by another Billy. Billy, how are you doing, Billy?
Fine. I just thought they were very poor.
Oh, you're being polite, Billy.
You don't want to say things, you know what I mean? I just think they were really poor all over the park. The goalkeeper, if you're going to play him as your number 1, well, McGregor must be in Europe every game. You can't play that keeper. You can't play that keeper.
I don't think he was great for the first goal, Billy.
I don't
No,
think I just don't think he's better than McGregor.
Good, Billy.
Hi, good evening, Billy. No, you're bang on, mate. The only thing, it was poor for the first goal, mate. Very poor. He could have done a hell of a lot better. And I'm sure when he watches that one back, he'll be disappointed in himself. He did. He got 3 good saves in the second half.
I know he can't redeem himself, but why is McGregor? If you're going to play McGregor, he's well playing in the European Cup chances. Don't play him in the league. Keep him for the UEFA.
But I'm singing.
He's more experience.
Yeah, Billy, I'm singing off the same song sheet as yourself, pal. I would have played Alan McGregor tonight in goals instead of McLaughlin, definitely, mate. Yeah, I totally agree with you, pal.
Where else did Billy?
They never got up to pace or nothing, you mean? It's as if they never warmed up right.
Well, what gave me concerns was the fitness levels. Didn't look great, if I'm being honest. I know it's early in the season and all that, but it didn't look great, Billy.
No, they look very slow.
I'm disappointed in the 15 players, but I'm also disappointed in the coaching staff. I think they get so much wrong tonight, if I'm being honest.
They were very lucky Sands never get sent off.
How he never took him off at half time. If Davis is fit to play 35 minutes, he's fit to play 45.
There's no real experience there, was there, in the middle of the park?
Well, Ryan Jack's early 30s now, mate. He's
back to a bad couple of injuries, you know what I mean? He's not really a good one.
Didn't look fit. Again, I'll go back to that. Didn't look fit.
No. I knew the bad injury. I know that personally because my wife x-rayed him.
Oh, can I come in there, pal?
Yes.
I'll tell you, Billy. I don't know what you think yourself, buddy, but I mean, when you put on, but when you start to talk about the fitness levels of the team, and then throw the situation, the way that team defended with their 2 blocks in there, we always seem to struggle against that style of football. I don't know what your thoughts are yourself, Billy, but we always seem to struggle against that style of football. And I think that team's done their homework. They've done their homework on that, and they've put it all together, and they've come up with a game plan, and it's worked big time for them.
They were winning as bad as says they were a good side. I thought they were quite good. I thought we were really rotten.
I think the combination of the both.
Combination. But
I had combination. We were poor. We were poor, Billy.
I think Sakala's a better player than Wright.
Well, Wright, what did he get? The last 10 minutes? Can't judge him right on that.
I don't rate Wright. You know what I mean?
No, but I don't think. Put it this way, I don't think Wright was any worse than Matondo. If I'm being honest.
I
mean, he was absolutely non-existent.
So what's happening with Morelos? What's going on there?
Well, he's going to get up to speed, isn't he?
There's obviously something else going behind the scene. Has his head been top?
I don't know, mate. We can speculate, but obviously he's going to get fit, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we see him on Saturday.
He's a main striker. I'm not the same without him.
I agree, mate. But that's 6 months probably we've had without him, yeah. Right, Billy. Great to speak to you, mate. There's a few calls going.
Cheers.
Thanks for the call. Great to speak to you, mate. Yeah.
There you are. Bye.
Cheers. You can hear the disappointment in people's voice, Juicy, and everybody's got different concerns, but collectively we let ourselves down. The whole team, the whole squad, and the whole management team, they got it so wrong.
Yeah, it was a complete disaster tonight, and in the next week we're going to be talking a lot about how we can improve things for the second leg. I mean, I'm grateful that there is a second leg. At least they've got an opportunity to put it right. And we know it's not beyond them, but the level of performance needed is going to have to be a massive improvement from what we've seen tonight. And my concern is that they could just counter us on the break if we push too hard.
All right, we'll be joined by Robert. Evening, Robert.
Evening, Oxford. Evening, guys. Listen, bitterly disappointed. I don't know where to start. I've came from a high to a low when I think of last season our manager taking us to a European final with Steven Gerrard's team. But see that tonight, Oxford, can you answer me one question? How can he sit there and watch that Matondo do absolutely nothing? Kolak, that's acting in disguise. And how can he sit there and watch that and not make at least 3 substitutes at half-time? Oxford, can you answer me how he sat there and watched that? Oh, and then when the camera went on him and looked frustrated, he'd done nothing about it. That was an absolute shocking performance. And I'll tell you one thing, guys, that was a poor team we were playing. That was not a good team we were playing. See, if we'd lost 2-0 tonight against a good team, then I would hold my hands up. That was a poor team, there for the taking. And I cannot understand Van Bronckhorst's tactics. I cannot understand what he's up with. And see, Bomber Barisic, see that guy? That guy cannot defend. My favourite player, Tavernier, gets flagged for years. See that Barisic? That is a waste of space as a defender. That guy cannot defend. And I thought that boy Sands, I thought he'd have been okay after watching him in pre-season. That, oh my God, he get thrown out so much tonight. Not one of them. Tillman, the first 15 minutes was good. But see, the rest of them, I'm sorry. Ryan Jack, is he carrying about 2 stone overweight? Because he looked at the night for me, and I don't mean to pick on him because I like him. Sorry, Ox.
Do you know something, Robert? I never thought I would say this, but I agree with everything you've just said there.
Honestly, Ox, I cannot believe it. Do you know what we've done? All the goodness we've done all the last 4 years, and this is what hurts me and gets me emotional. All the goodness we've done last year, they performances with that team, they performances with that fan base, and now we're doing a Malmo all over again. We're going to throw this away, mate, and I'm sorry. That is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking.
It was poor. The shape was wrong. I agree with you about Matondo. I thought he was absolutely abysmal, if I'm being honest. Would have took him and Sands off at half time. I would have brought Wright or Sakala on and moved and I changed the shape personally. I'd have went to a 4 and moved Lundstrom up beside.
And also, no, see another thing, and I like him. I think he's a Rolls Royce player. But what's happening with Glenn Kamara? He kept giving the ball away, right? They've been better having Wee Davis on there, somebody can control a game. That Glenn Kamara, I don't know if he's playing him out of position, but I'm sorry. And
I'll tell you what, I think Glenn Kamara tonight, mate, if I'm being honest, right? See, when they're used to playing with a 3 in there, when you turn, you've got options. When we turned in the midfield around about the halfway line, if somebody was next to Jack, there wasn't an option. So you end up holding on to the ball too long, and then you get caught in possession. I'm not saying Glenn Kamara had a good game, by the way. I'm not saying that at all. But we could go on all night. Anyway, we've also been joined by Big Al. Evening, big man.
All right.
Good morning to you.
Aye, good morning. It's not that good a morning, actually, watching that rubbish.
Wasn't even that good, big man.
No. Look, we don't have anybody in the middle of that park that gives us any zip. I think that's a major problem. Lundstrom, Jack, Kamara, the 3 of them are very, very similar. There's nobody there. They always pass. I don't think I've seen balls going forward tonight. The ball always seems to go back, especially with Kamara. Where's Captain Fantastic? There's a wee man on there. It sounds like he's on Radio Clyde and he's ranting and raving, man. Captain Fantastic, missing, totally missing. I don't know. You look at the manager sitting in the dugout there. There was a couple of pictures there. The camera turned him towards the end, just sitting there. The ideas. Too late for ideas at that time, obviously. Kolak, I think it's unfair to call him like that. I think he's a far better player than that. But he's not getting the service. We didn't have that talisman. We don't have a talisman. I don't know if Morelos is that talisman. I'd like to see a talisman in the middle of the park. Somebody that puts their foot in the ball and drives forward. I don't understand why Lawrence. I think Lawrence is there to make a difference in the middle of the park or behind the strikers. But I don't know if he's the answer. We need somebody in the middle of the park. Ryan Jack's done. Kamara for me, I've never been a big fan of him. I think he's to me he's just like a Black Neil Lennon, man. He just goes from left to right. He's like a crab. There's no imagination for him. He's got a touch about him, but it's just no imagination. The young boy Sand, I think somebody said the other night there could he be the new Calvin Bassey. Oof. He's got a long way to go.
It was Calvin Bassey against St Mirren in the League Cup, mate.
Aye. Look, it's bitterly disappointing. The English boy that's on it, I'm sorry, I forget his name.
Juicy.
Oh, Juicy, that's it. Aye, Juicy. Juicy, look, I kind of agree with him. I think we have got a pedigree to turn this around, but I think the manager and the coaching staff, they do really need to have a big look at themselves. I mean, they won the Scottish Cup, but they lost the league. They lost the Europa League final. Belgium's not far away from Luxembourg. It was took me back to the old Pedro days. So, look, I think we desperately need somebody in the middle of the park that can put. And I don't think Davies or I don't think Arfield. I think they've had their days. I just don't think we need somebody with a bit of vigour, a talisman in the middle of the park, somebody that's willing to go forward. If he cannot make the passes, he's able to drive with the ball himself, to open up, to give service to the wingers, to give service to our forwards.
I'll ask you a question, and I'll start with Juicy quickly, boys, if you don't mind. Do you think Gio was happy when it was just 1-0 and was content to just play the game out?
Well, we were still tactically inept when it was 1-0. So, I mean, you look back on it now, and of course we'd have taken a 1-0 defeat, but we were fortunate for it only to be 1-0 at half time. And, they'd had some good opportunities to make it 2-0 before half time. And he didn't look like he was going to change anything. That's the problem that we've all got. And, I think I was exactly right there with regards to the players who push the ball forward. And I'm trying to think here what midfielders could actually do that. Arfield, Lawrence, neither of them started. We're going to need someone like that next week, because if we don't move the ball forward quickly and we play with those three just passing it around between them, we're not winning any matches next week.
All right, well, we're also joined by Jim. Evening, Jim.
Good evening, guys. Just like everybody else here. Baffled, stunned, unbelievable. I can't believe we're manager tonight, by the way. I really can't. How we can set that formation up there, basically going a 5-2-3. The two in front of the 5 are defensive midfielders. Where do we go for that? He doesn't seem capable of changing things until he thinks he needs to. I honestly don't understand his tactics sometimes. Absolutely baffling tonight is unbelievable. He seemed to accept that tonight, if we were going to lose that game 1-0. He waited to 70 minutes when he had to change it. And what did he do? He brought 2 defenders on. Then tries to change it after we go 2-0 down. Why? He's sitting there with his hands in his pockets, by the way, man, doing absolutely nothing on that bench. I'm actually stunned by that tonight. Absolutely stunned. And I don't understand what he was all about there tonight. I'm having a go at the manager more than anything else in it here.
I agree, Jim, and I think he deserves all the criticism that will come his way. I want to ask you something, mate. You know what I'm going to ask you?
Apparently.
Aye.
You probably could have given it, gone with the rules, the laws of the game, mate. You probably could have given it.
Mm-hmm. All right, mate. You're a very honest man. I know that. Apart from the time you never gave him a change back, but that's another story.
Keep that for another day, bro. Come on. No, I'm actually stunned tonight with that performance. In
I agree with you totally. That was a 5-2-3, mate.
Of course it was, with two sitting defenders in front of that 5. Unbelievable.
You could actually call it a 7-3 at times, couldn't you?
Terrible. Why are we going out there so negative? Why are we going into these games so negative?
I don't know. I agree, and I agree with you about the players. I agree with you about the management tonight. I agree with you about the tactics. Juicy.
Well, it's. I mean, we keep going back to the tactics, don't we, guys? And you know, the penalty, it just kind of summed up the evening, really, didn't it, Oxshire? And you know, we could have been there another 20 minutes, 30 minutes tonight, and I don't really think anything would have changed because we didn't modify those tactics to try and cope with the match and cope with what they were doing. We need to see a reaction, and we need to see something against Kilmarnock at the weekend that's going to give us a level of belief that we can even get back into this. Lowry. Is Lowry in the Champions League squad? Because Lowry could be the person. I mean, my goodness,
he's not fit.
No, he's not fit, is he? You're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Listen, I'll take this to you.
He plays Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack's no fit.
I agree with that. Also, he didn't look fit.
That's a good point.
I don't know where we.
It's pretty dire if you see. Can I just say something? It's pretty dire if you try to play with two wingers, but you didn't give the wingers the ball. You know what I mean? You pass it from left to right in the middle of that park, man, and if it doesn't go left to right, it goes back the way. It goes back to the keeper. There was one time I seen Kamara. He could have played a pass to his right hand side that would have put the ball forward, but he opted to play it back to Goldson. Then Goldson plays it back to the goalkeeper. That team just regrouped, say thank you very much. And it's kind of similar for the weekend as well. I don't know, is this something that they're getting in? I noticed that a lot towards the end of last season as well. We want to go forward. I watched it on Stan here. I've got the Stan Sports Channel here, so it was on Stan Sports Channel here, and the commentator mentioned European powerhouse Glasgow Rangers. That's how he described us. We didn't look like a powerhouse. And see, just another thing, why are we not wearing our blue strip? It's just a little thing, but I don't like that.
I get that. I understand.
Why do we not wear our homes? I don't know if it makes a difference to me. I like to see Rangers playing in blue, like that's our colours. I don't know if it makes a difference to the players. It's just a gripe.
No, I get where you're coming from. I've been a traditionalist, understand it, but obviously they brought a new kit and they wanted everybody to see it, but nobody would rush to buy that after that.
No, nobody would buy that one. No, but like that Man United grey one, sell about £5.
Yes, Robert.
Can I just say one thing, right? And I'm not making excuses here. I'm trying to calm down, right? To Mr. Pally's man tonight, I don't care what anybody says. I have Rangers fans going, if that big boy Cholak starts to score goals, Alfie won't get in the team. See, when Alfie's fit, Alfie's the number one pick. And I hope what Rangers fans realise tonight, when they criticise Ryan Kent, we all know his numbers domestically aren't good enough, right? No, his assists are good enough. But he should be scoring more than 3 goals in the Scottish Premier League. But I'll tell you one thing, we miss Ryan Kent tonight. It might not always happen for him, but you know what? He'll unlike that Matondo. Ryan Kent will run back and cover all the ground, unlike that boy Matondo. So, see all the Rangers fans that criticise Ryan Kent, see garbage, he's this or that. Well, you know what? I think if he'd been here tonight, it might have been a lot different. Just my opinion out there.
I don't disagree with you again. I can't believe I'm saying that. By the way, Matondo's strip could get right into the hamper. It'll only washed.
I think there's a few like that tonight, by the way. They've taken that strip off, they wouldn't need to wash it. But embarrassing take a shower off them.
You know, it was just...
By the way, what did he come out and say after that game tonight? What did he say tonight?
I've not heard him, Jim. I was on here. I'll hear it after the show, yeah. You know. I don't know what you would say to that, mate. You got it bang, or do you try?
I'll tell you what they should be doing. They should be getting all the guys that travelled there to make their money back, by the way, because they're absolute disgrace.
100%, Jim. 100%.
700.
Why are we not up to speed? By the way,
can I come back on that one, please? Can I come back on that? Has anybody had a look at how that team were actually flung together? I think the two centre defenders tonight, by the way, one playing for Accrington Stanley and some other Mickey Mouse mob. By the way, that tonight is unforgiving, by the way. Absolute embarrassment tonight. And how he's not reacting to things until he needs to. It doesn't suit me. I don't know. I'm going to withhold my judgment on him, by the way. Last year was brilliant, getting in the run and all the rest of it. But we also popped a lot of points last year, by the way, guys, and it shouldn't be forgotten. Right. Absolutely shocking to me.
One of the things that I can't understand, Jim, is in modern football, since we've started this 5 substitutes, you've got to use them. Martindale done it rightly or wrongly on Saturday. The boy could have been sent off. He was off before half time. Martindale doesn't do that if he's only got 3 subs. You've got to use it to your advantage. Make subs at half time. Sands has been booked, and you've got to use it to your. Matondo's having a nightmare just coming in the team new and coming back for an injury. Get the 2 of them off and start again.
But as I said earlier on, the worrying thing is he brought 2 subs on in 70 minutes. 2 defenders. Mm-hmm. Which to me suggested I'm taking a 1-0 to get out of here.
That's what it looked like to me, Tim,
big
if I'm being honest.
For most of the game.
Aye. Billy, and you come, mate.
Aye, Jim's back. You're bang on, Jim. 100%, mate. 100% correct.
It's the first time Jim's ever been on this show.
I know. Glad somebody's agreed with me on something.
No, you're bang on, mate. I mean, he's as you rightly said, buddy, it's like seeing across the back at times. I mean, it's Glasgow Rangers. It's Glasgow Rangers we're talking about here. You know what I mean? We should be going attacking teams, mate. And he got it woefully wrong all over the park tonight, mate. And some of his decision-making substitutes and the time he was taking to make the substitutions, mate, was head-scratching to say the very least. And that's me keeping it polite for the show, buddy.
He never at any point until later on in the game when they went 2-0 try to change that formation. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if he really did, mate.
I don't think he did try to change it either, if I'm being honest.
No. Yeah, but what he done, the tactical moved Sands to the right-hand side of the back 3 and moved Lundstrom up when he took Ryan Jack off. Nothing changed.
Yeah, I know.
It was like for light, Ox, when he done that.
Nothing changed. If you're losing a game of football in the midfield, you've only got 2 in there. You need to get another body in there, minimum. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Minimum. You know?
We're punters and we're sitting here saying that. What is he thinking?
You might be a punter. I'm a tactical genius.
You're a genius, my man.
Big Al.
You're a tactical genius, right enough. Who does he answer to? He must be getting his balls wrapped right now, man, on a chopping block, saying, right, pal, what's the score here? Because, like we've just said, we're only novices at this. He's a professional. There's guys in the stand watching it. I seen a row of executives. They had their head in their hands as well watching that. I seen one of them. He was chewing his glasses, man. So it's difficult. As I say again, I'm very, very disappointed. The league's the thing for me. Everyone else is gravy, as you say. But we need some zip in the middle of that park, because we get to the middle of the park and we go back away, and that's not good. The goal's at the other end of the park that we need to attack. So we need some zip in the middle of the park, whoever that is. I'm not 100% sure. Have we still got money? If we sell enough of the new strips, we should be able to go and buy a midfielder. So I would be getting in somebody in the middle of that park. Is there no Dutch guys? A bit of zip about them. Somebody that can actually play the ball forward. That has to be the top of his CV. He loves to look up, put his head up and play the ball forward. That's what I'd be looking for.
Al, can I ask you a question?
No.
I'll ask you this question. I'll listen. See me let £30 million worth of talent go, then you're risking losing £35 million to the Champions League. Have we no missed? Can we not see it already? And I know you're not his biggest fan, Al. Pure evil.
We're missing him.
No.
Oh, come on, Al. Joe Rebo's a wonderful football player.
He done
wonderful.
For the last 6 months, he is, man.
What?
I'm not
saying he scored in the European Cup final. He scored in the European Cup final.
Did we win it?
So
Did we win it? No.
I wasn't doing him.
No. I'm just answering your question. You said to me he scored in a European final.
Yes.
Did we win the final? No, we didn't. So that it means nothing. But you want to be known as losers, because that's what we're looking like. We get to places.
No.
2008 last year, the same thing. Lost the league. Huh? It seems to me that the club is just driven by money. I think I've said this before, and a couple of people agree with me. I think we're turning into Arsenal. It's all right to get there, have a run, but winning, we want to win things. Be all and end all. We want to win things. As far as I'm concerned, we need to win stuff. Joe Aribo was a good player. I'm not denying that, but he wasn't consistent enough. He just didn't date for me. He didn't float my boat. He was there. He just didn't date for me. You've got your opinion, and I respect your opinion.
He's a top rally. He can make things happen. No, he gives you that X factor. All right, I agree with you. If Christmas, his form wasn't great, if we're being honest. No,
right. That's right. Aye, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he doesn't, but Ryan Kent can make things happen, but he's not consistent enough.
He can.
Yeah, Scott Wright can make things happen. Not consistent enough. Morelos can make things happen. Not consistent enough. I think that's a market we deal in. Players that aren't consistent. That's as simple as that. But I'd like to get a bit more work rate out of the players and just go forward.
But that was a disappointment. The thing, right? Okay. So if we all agree, and we'll go to Juicy with us. We got the tactics wrong, we got the shape wrong, and arguably we got the personnel wrong. But there's no excuse for not being able to pass the ball 20 yards. Juicy.
The passing was poor, and it was also very negative. As Al said earlier, there was no attempt to play the ball forward to any great degree. It was just that negative passing side to side, not creating anything for anybody. So, someone like Kolak, I'm actually not going to slam him too much because the guy didn't get any service. Whether that was him or Alfredo, Fred would have had problems with that tonight as well if he's not getting the ball. Although what he would have done, he'd have come back a lot deeper to try and hold the ball to then bring others into it. So we know that's what he brings to a game rather than just scoring goals, which is why I'm desperate for him to be back next week. But yeah, you're totally correct. The passing was just not there. It was just so inept. I mean, what the hell did they talk about at half-time and before the game? What was the game plan? Because I'm struggling to understand what we're trying to do.
Didn't it look to me as if the players bought into tactics? Billy, in you come?
Aye, just to touch on Big Al's shout there, he's bang on the middle of the park, mate. I'll tell you something now, Al. Rangers were linked to a guy. You touched on the Dutch player there. Rangers were linked to a guy called Joey Vernon, right? Now that laddie's rated around the £6 million mark. Now, if we've just paid £6 million or whatever it was around that region for that left back, right now we are Dutch background staff and their interest in PSV and Feyenoord and that. Surely we should be looking at a player like that, because lo and behold, that game finished 1-1 tonight and he scored for the middle of the park.
That's sod's law. That's sod's law for us, isn't it? It always kind of happens that way. I don't know.
Holland, Billy. He went to PSV, so he might have been happy to stay in Holland. No, you know what it's like. You like going Dutch, didn't you?
And Billy, see, we tried to sign Joey Dearman. Going to remember one thing: we didn't have at that time we didn't have that great run in Europe we had when we tried to sign Joey Dearman. So why would we want to spend £7 million when we didn't have £7 million to spend? Who was going to give us £7 million? We didn't have the money to spend at that time. We didn't know we were going to get that great run in Europe. So, and that's why we're bringing in players now, because we get that great run in Europe, and we're now generating money with the sale of Calvin Bassey, with the sale of Joe Aribo. We've not been able to do that for 10, 12 years, whatever it is. Now we're starting to do it, so it's going to take time. But at that time, we'd all loved Joey Veerman, but we couldn't have afforded him, and that's a fact.
Maybe Billy's got a point. Billy, you've maybe got a point. We've maybe spent the money in the wrong areas of the park.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Have we not got a young left back that can take out for Borna Barisic at the club? You know what I mean?
No. No, there isn't, no.
No,
his name was Bassey, and they sold him.
I think Divine looks very good.
That made...
We had to take that money.
Sorry, I don't mean that.
No, of course he had to take it. We had to take it.
We've got to take the money.
But that's who the replacement was for Borna Barisic. Was Calvin Bassey.
But Borna looks a guy who just void of confidence at times, you know. I don't know. Maybe for Borna, if I'm being honest, nothing against the guy. He's part of some of our great nights in the last few years, but it might be good for him to have a change as well. Is that fair? I'll go to Jim with that. Jim?
I would say aye and no. I don't think he gets any protection in front of him. I don't think there was any protection in front of him tonight again.
Billy?
Just to come back to Robert there on the situation with money. No, but what happens, what I'm led to believe that happens, pal, is Rangers, whenever they go through certain prestige in Europe or whatever the case, the manager will sit down with the chairman or whoever it may be, and they get told how much money they've got to spend on a transfer budget for that particular season, with the possibility of more money gets spent if you get to the Champions League, or if you don't qualify for the Champions League, you get less amount of money type thing, right? So if Rangers, we've talking sake, we've got 20 million for Bassey, we've got £15 million roughly for the wee laddie that went to Patterson, that went to Everton, right there, 35. We got another 10 for Joe Aribo, right there, 45, plus the money we generated on a run through Europe and getting to the UEFA Cup final. So that's touched with fan revenue and all the rest that goes along with it. So you're talking nearly £90 million. So how we as a club no got £6 million to go out and buy the likes of Joey Veerman?
The debt's got to be serviced.
The Joey Veerman one was last summer, mate.
No, I know, no, but what I'm saying is, Ox, right? I'm using the Joey Veerman. Big Al asked a question about the Dutch players. Mm-hmm. There's a Dutch player there, mate, who's rated in the transfer market now at £6 million. It's £6.3 million. That's how much that guy's rated it for a 23-year-old centre midfield player who scored tonight for Feyenoord against Monaco, mate. That's my point.
Listen, we've started spending money in players. We've spent £6 million on a left back. You would imagine it's going to be first choice. You've not spent that money. We've spent another £4 million on a centre back, which is the most we've spent on a centre back ever, maybe. Can't remember. Because Conor Golson didn't cost that. Yeah. But the point of Big Al's being is maybe we need a playmaker. Juicy?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's difficult talking about who we can or can't sign. We all know that Joey Veerman was someone that was being looked at last summer, under the previous regime. Of course, Gio's going to know about him, isn't he? And in one of life's ironies, the winner of this tie is likely to be playing PSV Eindhoven in the next round. Look, there's still opportunities to go and sign players, guys, but we need them in now. The biggest matches of the season are right now. And to be honest,
nobody coming in the door is going to influence that game next week, are they? Unless it's a miracle.
Right, there's nobody coming in the door at all. I tell you, the week there's nobody coming in the door.
Right, okay, so yes or no answer. Yes or no answer. I'll drop you. It's simple. Yes or no. Can we go through? Yes or no. Jim?
No.
Robert?
No.
Al?
Yes, we can go through. Of course we can.
Thank God for that. Billy?
Yes.
Juicy?
Yes.
And it's a yes for me. Listen, can I thank you all for joining us? I think great to hear from you as always, Jim. Thanks,
No
Robert.
problem.
Thanks, Big Al. Good to hear from you, big man.
All right, no problem.
All right. Cheers, mate. Last word, Billy. Keep it brief.
No, I ain't bothered, mate. No, listen, the tie, it's only half time in the tie Ox. We're 2-0 down, mate. But I still believe we can get through, mate. We've got Kilmarnock on Saturday, obviously. We get the 3 points in that game, mate, and let's look forward to the return leg at Ibrox, and let's rock the place and shout our team on into the next round of the Champions League qualifiers, mate.
Juicy Bear.
Make a game of it next week. Make a game of it. Be competitive. Show what you're capable of, because we know there's a good team in there. We've seen it. We've seen what they can do. And it starts against Kilmarnock at the weekend. Maybe those injured players can get some game time. And we know that Kent should be back. We know that Alfredo's close. Let's give us something to really look forward to.
Cheers, mate. Thanks to the callers. Thanks to Billy earlier on. Thanks to Jim, Robert and Big Al. Thanks to Juicy and Billy for having the guts to coming back on tonight. Thanks to Fox and all School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We'll be joined by Bridgeman, All Bear and Linda. Take it away, Old School Blue.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Heads held on high, for the Jersey they will do or die. Fight for time, play the game with the band of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you. Loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow the drill, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you. Loyal and true, on the way to cheer the boys in blue. Follow bravely, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Gracious King, Lord,